I work for a penis.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I know that, Mr. Man. They also call them cereals. I'm not stupid, you know.
The story is ludicrous. You can imagine where it goes from here.
Fixes the cable.
Your town is being quarantined.
We got 19 dead. You got 100 more infected. It's spreading like a brush fire.
What are you talking about?
If one of them's got it, then 10 of them have got it now. We have a very interesting problem.
From the heart of a small California town, the greatest medical crisis of all time begins.
Try to remain calm.
Many people are dying and are going to continue to die unless we find this monkey.
There you are.
Attention, Portland residents, citizens of San Diego.
I got pages of notes for this one.
I got a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is after dark here at Black Dog Video on a very quiet commercial drive street here in Vancouver. That makes this the Black Dog Video After Dark podcast, aka Black Dog After Dark. I am Dylan Reimer, one of your regular hosts. I'm a stand-up comic and frequent employee of Black Dog Video, and to my left is...
I'm Alex Chisholm. I also work at Black Dog Video. I'm also a programmer at the Rio Theater.
I am Darren Gay. I own this disease-riddled establishment.
So the movie we're doing tonight, fittingly, is Outbreak from 1995.
Is that 95?
Is 1995, yeah.
Oh.
And frankly, I've been wanting to do this one for forever, since we started, but it never seemed like the time was right.
You're just waiting for the pandemic to come along.
Yeah, and it didn't disappoint.
Shut everybody in the house.
I didn't think you guys would go for it, but here we are.
Oh, I was down as soon as you mentioned it.
Now, given that... Oh, by the way, this podcast is sponsored, of course, by Jefferson's Barbershop. I was sly enough to get in right before they clamped down.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Yeah, you're looking a little shaggy.
I know. I was looking at Jefferson's Facebook page today, and they said they're closed. I guess I got to cut my own fucking hair now.
Yeah.
So I hope they feel bad.
Outbreak. I actually can't remember who directed this.
Wolfgang Petersen.
Oh, that's right, Wolfgang Petersen.
Das Boot.
Of Das Boot fame, and also Air Force One.
And In the Line of Fire.
Oh,
and
a
few other sort of middling but half decent.
I think Crimson Tide, maybe.
No, that was
Tony
Scott.
Oh,
but yeah, he's like a competent action. You know, he makes things hum along.
Yeah.
He's not the best. Das Boot's probably his best thing.
Das Boot is a masterpiece.
Yeah, that's his masterpiece.
Yeah, it is.
Interestingly, some fun facts. If you watched, I did a little YouTubing before. Originally, Ridley Scott, because this was based on sort of loosely based on a book called The Hot Zone, which I read back in 1995.
Oh.
And there was a big bidding war. Hot Zone is if I'm not mistaken, it's actually a non-fiction. It's a non-fiction. It's just a book about diseases and how we're all going to die. And originally, so what happened was there was a bidding war for The Hot Zone. Yeah. Originally intended to be directed by Ridley Scott. I mean, there were two studios vying for The Hot Zone, and one of them started making a movie version of The Hot Zone. I think this is Warner Brothers. So they knocked out Outbreak in record time, just so they could beat Robert Redford, Jodie Foster, and Ridley Scott to the punch.
Similar things happened. I'm not joking around the time of The Abyss. Word got out that James Cameron was making The Abyss, Deep Star 6, and Leviathan, which were also like varying quality
bad movies.
Yeah, but nonetheless still made money on their budgets and stuff. And it was like they weren't giant hits, but they totally made.
That happens all the time.
It does, but it's because they scooped The Abyss.
So they rushed Outbreak out, originally hoping to get Harrison Ford.
Out.
Everything about this movie stinks of we couldn't get the people we wanted, we couldn't get the script we wanted, and this thing has been rushed.
Couldn't get the monkey we wanted.
All I was thinking this whole time was this feels like a Tom Clancy movie.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford should be in this, and so I wasn't surprised when I did some research after watching it, and I was like, oh, they couldn't get Harrison Ford, so they went with the obvious Harrison Ford lookalike,
Dustin Hoffman. Who's, I think, at least a full human shorter than Harrison Ford is.
Yeah, you can fit like 2.5 Dustin Hoffmans in one Harrison Ford.
Exactly.
And it's funny you keep making the Harrison Ford reference because I'm not joking. In pre-production, Dustin Hoffman for many years was tied to the original Blade Runner script. He was Deckard.
He did Tootsie instead of Blade Runner?
Yeah.
Probably
a good choice. Yeah. I didn't like Tootsie much, but it's probably good. Better fit for him.
Tootsie's a masterpiece.
Everything's a masterpiece to you. When did you watch it? When you watched it, some point,
my pick. So But yeah, 95. I saw this at a chain of theaters called The Theater Near You in Westminster. It was like a $2.50 movie theater.
Oh,
yeah, there were a bunch of them.
The kind of the guys who come and just like stay all day in the theater with their
And I was one of those guys.
They have lunch there,
and there were 3 screens, so you just pay $2.50, and then you just sneak into all 3.
Right.
And this was one of them, and I got a little obsessed with it. But anyways, I read The Hot Zone. I started freaking out about viruses, and I was convinced that and this is the time when like Ebola was
good old Ebola
was happening. Yeah. I think like 1993 there was like this big Ebola outbreak.
And an incredible film, very similar to Outbreak, came out around the time out of Hong Kong. It's a mind-meltingly disturbing.
Not only mind melting.
It's a kidney melting. It's an internal organs meltingly.
Face melting. Like the Ebola syndrome, right?
The Ebola syndrome. It's a completely insane exploitation film from Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's totally crazy.
It's one of the most completely out there, completely censor-defying movies.
Would you call it a masterpiece?
No.
I wound up seeing this movie about 5 times in theaters.
Whoa!
Well, it was at $2.50. It wasn't.
And you slept in the theater, so what are you going to not watch it?
I took acid. I was taking a lot of acid back in those days, and at one point I did take acid and go see this. I guess I would have been 19 years old, and I watched it again the day before yesterday. What about you?
So, are we social distancing enough away from the microphone with each other? Are we all cool?
So.
Are we all cool?
I think we're all right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're 16 feet away from each other.
Yes, we're actually yelling.
I'm in Vera's Burgers next door.
I'm at home.
I'm hollering through the air vent.
I still can't believe you haven't noticed my designer, plexiglass mask.
Oh, okay. I can't even see it.
Visor mask.
You're wearing a full blue plastic faceplate.
Did you notice?
Or a humongous mask.
They tried so hard to make those suits look sexy in this fucking movie. It's hilarious.
It's one of those questions I always had about when you see people wearing hazmat suits or space suits, whatever. I don't think in real ones they have most of it is just a giant clear thing on their head.
Yeah.
Obviously it's for the movie so you can see them. They just look ridiculous.
Yeah. And there's nipples in Rene Russo's.
Even the way they're shaped, because they're flat in the front and then they're flat in the sides. But whenever they showed the scene from inside the mask, you couldn't see anything out the side. It was all blurry and out of focus and out of shape and stuff. But what's the point of that?
I don't know.
It's stupid. That's why I said it was
so
stupid.
People can check out your sideburns. What about you, Alex? First time you saw Outbreak?
Well, actually, when I watched it just this weekend, it's the first from start to finish view. I had seen most of this on TV whenever it first aired back in the day, sometime in the 90s. I lived in Montreal when I was home, visiting my father who had cable, and we watched it on some American network or something.
Was it a bonding moment for you guys?
And, I'll tell you, we bonded over Outbreak. No, it was just, 2 dudes watching a movie. But I saw most of it back then, but this was my first complete viewing of it.
I saw it on home video when it came out, and I watched it, and I did not remember a single thing about it. And
not even Patrick Dempsey?
I forgot McDreamy was in it. I didn't know Morgan Freeman was in it. I didn't know Kevin Spacey was in it.
Yeah.
I knew Dustin Hoffman and Rene Russo.
Yeah.
I didn't know Cuba Gooding Jr. was in it. I didn't know Donald Sutherland was in it.
It's fair to say you at least found this film forgettable.
It was in one eye and out the other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like a deadly
I
virus.
barely
like a deadly virus might
either.
do.
All I remembered, I didn't even remember anyone else except when I thought back, oh yeah, if I'd see it here on the shelf, I just remember Dustin Hoffman running around sweaty trying to save the day.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
He swore a lot in this movie,
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Yes, at the very end when he tells his superior officer, with all due respect, go fuck yourself. And he doesn't lose his job.
Yeah,
Well, we do it to you all the time.
I know. But you don't say the due respect thing, though.
So, yeah.
Maybe prefaced with that. I mean, we could be fine.
So the movie starts out, it's 1967 in Zaire.
67 or 71?
67.
Okay.
I know this because
you're born.
One of the things you didn't know about Outbreak says it starts out in Zaire in 1967. Zaire as a country didn't even exist until 1973.
Oh, really? I watched this with my wife and kid last night, and my wife's like, I don't think Zaire exists anymore, but I guess it didn't even exist then.
Well, Tammy hit the nail right on the head there.
Yeah, they should do their homework.
You know what they're really saying.
Yeah.
White people wrote this. I don't know, some black country.
they just did this with their finger and then pointed at Africa. And
or it's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Nobody's business but the Turks. So it starts out in Zaire, and there's all these
there's a lot of people dying in a tent.
A lot of people dying. It's soldiers. Soldiers are dying. And then a helicopter lands. What I love, the helicopter budget on this fucking movie.
There's helicopter.
Everything is a helicopter.
Actually, after this movie ended, my kid and my wife and I sat around and came up with better names for this movie. We'll get to that at the end of this
Okay.
show. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes,
A lot of-
we can't miss a good one. So,
Isn't that also the moment you guys decide, like, your next big family investment, you're going to buy a helicopter?
why? I wish chopper.
We could
Chopper.
fly over East Van and throw movies down. Like,
So yeah, a lot of whirlybirds in this flick.
Sure are.
that would be a great title, Whirlybirds.
in this
Whirlybirds?
flick.
Yeah, this is probably the most helicopter-heavy movie I've ever seen, including Apocalypse Now.
Helicopter budget
They
for
go,
this
wait,
movie
wait,
was huge.
Including Blue Thunder.
Well, they only had like 2 in that one. The Blue Thunder and then the one that was chasing them.
Yeah, there's like just a couple of helicopters in that.
Yeah, not like this.
But with this, it's almost like they had extra helicopters lying around the studio.
Yeah. And if they didn't use...
Bigger than a season of Airwolf.
Bigger than the beginning of MASH.
That's
Yeah, Whirlybird lands, and 2 of the scariest looking good guys.
Yeah, they got black visors.
And it's like, it's Darth Sutherland, as I call
They
them.
look like
was he supposed to be one of
Donald
them?
Sutherland was, it was the 60s.
Right.
And so it's his voice.
Right.
Coming
Oh,
through
I
the,
couldn't even tell.
He's like, I am your father.
Was, yeah.
Was Morgan Freeman the other one?
He might have been.
Well, the thing, I didn't recognize that character was supposed to be Morgan Freeman until Morgan Freeman appeared later. Like, I knew right away, Donald Sutherland's that guy who was in the opening scene.
I didn't know that.
You clearly hear his scary voice. Yeah.
So anyways, there's a big outbreak of some horrible fucking
in Zaire.
pustule disease and...
Hemorrhagic fever.
Yes. And so they're only...
That's my country band.
Later referred to as E-1011. So Darth Sutherland draws some blood from a soldier and is the least reassuring guy ever.
Yeah.
He's like, tell my wife I love her.
You'll
tell yourself, son.
I was like, tell my girl I love her.
Yeah, and as soon as he goes, you'll tell her yourself, son. I'm just like, oh, it's Donald Sutherland's creepy voice.
Yeah. After he said that line, all I could think of was Miles Goodwin, singer of April Ryan, his voice, and he's like, if you say Kay, tell her I love her.
I didn't think of that.
No, me neither. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Another podcast, another April Wine reference. So anyway, so he gets a bit of blood, and it's like, oh, don't worry, we'll drop some food, and food in this case is like the largest non-nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
It looks like a giant floating incinerator.
Yeah, and it actually is a pretty awesome explosion.
It's like there's this massive almost nuke, and then immediately Dustin Hoffman. It's like, oh, this is his career.
Well,
kaboom!
Actually, the explosion was cool. It just vaporized people. It was actually well shot. I thought it was a good way to start the movie.
And you see monkeys running away.
Right. Yeah.
Because,
you know that's trouble.
So it's the infected monkeys didn't get killed, so the monkeys are still out there.
So okay, my question is because when inside of present day, which I assume was 1995.
Yes.
And those monkeys are still alive? Is it
Not the same monkeys? It's just
they just keep passing it on to each other?
Yeah, the little macaque
all
monkeys.
Those monkey sex?
Well, no, it's just like the virus is still in the jungle and the monkeys are still gone.
Right.
Modern day.
Well, we have the cast being introduced. It's like, oh, and as soon as Kevin Spacey's name came up, my wife goes, "Oh, Rapey Spacey."
Rapey Spacey, that's his name? Kevin Rapey? And
Tammy told me something else came to your mind, too.
Oh, dear, what?
Well, apparently he said, oh, God, this means Alex is going to make a Kevin Spacey in the shower
she doesn't know about all of that.
I knew that thing. I was like, oh, Alex is going to go to town with his Kevin Spacey in the
because
shower.
She refuses to listen to the podcast. So anyways, let's get back to the movie.
So we cut to modern day, 1995.
Are you sure this was 95? What's this more 96?
Well, according to
the World Wide Web.
I don't know. You can look it up.
So it cuts to modern day, and they're in a medical facility.
Yes, not just any. They're at the CDC.
The
Center for Disease Control.
I like which now only has half the budget, so only half those people are there.
You know how they have split fast food restaurants like Wendy's and Kentucky Fried Chicken? Yep. I think it's like the CDC and Pizza Hut.
And a Wendy's. Yeah. But there's a scene when like the guy he walks in and he has to put his hand in a scanner to get into. And I'm thinking, oh man, I hope you washed your hand. Every time I see scenes like that now, it's just
dude,
get away from all those people. Like,
did you notice that at no point does anyone close the door behind them?
Oh no!
Like I imagine it's a spring-loaded door.
Infectious disease.
But it's like level 1, the Mondays and the common cold, and and then level 2.
The Mondays.
Level 2 is like Lyme disease, which for some reason makes me laugh every time. Like, really, is that bad?
Yeah, apparently it's pretty bad.
And then like level 3 is like HIV,
rickets, and bad haircuts,
disco fever,
and
then you get up to like level 4, and the whole time he's just walking through these doors. doors.
Yeah.
The doors are staying open.
Hey, everybody.
The pizza, they're like, oh, bring some noodles.
It totally reminded me of the opening of the Naked Gun movies, like the tracking shot of the hood of the car, the simulated track. It was just each room got so much more crazy.
And then we cut to Dustin Hoffman, who's going over to his, I guess, soon-to-be ex-wife's house, and he's wearing pleated pants. We could not stop talking about the pleated pants.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
That 90s look where it's just, and it's halfway up to his nipples.
Yeah, he's got
his
he's wearing them all.
He's
got the old man wear.
Totally. And somehow if I looked like Dustin Hoffman and I bagged Renee Russo,
she's a lovely woman.
I would never lose her.
Yeah.
To my job.
Yeah.
By the way, I wondered the same thing about the other movie that Wolfgang Peterson did with Renee Russo around this time. In the Line of Fire, because like Clint hooks up with her, and it's just like Renee's so much better than Dustin.
Well,
in this movie or Clint.
Scene right before this, we're introduced to Kevin Spacey and Dustin Hoffman,
right? As
they're going into they're studying hemorrhagic fever. I can't remember what it was, but there's a cut.
Was that I think that comes a little bit later. But anyways, we can talk about that now. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they're all the same. It's he's so distracted by like his
divorce and stuff, and his dogs.
That he's got a rip in his sleeve.
His fucking shitty
and Kevin
suit.
Spacey's like, "Whoa, buddy!" And then he just grabs some fucking green duct tape.
Some duct tape. That'll take care of that when you walk into like the most infectious room on the planet.
Yep. Or you could just put on a new suit.
Well, that's what I said. Put a new suit on, and like
they're not made of money.
And the thing is that this isn't the first time that the cheapness and poor construction of these suits come into play.
Yeah, they're practically made of like
all you do is like
rice paper.
you brush up against something, and then there's got a gaping hole in it.
It should at least be the structural integrity of like a condom,
or
at least.
It should be 100%.
And they should be ribbed.
By the way, through this whole movie, I kept thinking about that Naked Gun scene where Leslie Nielsen and what's her name were having sex.
Priscilla Presley.
What's
her name? You mean the Queen?
Yeah.
Of rock and
roll?
roll?
The woman who fucked a talented guy. Anyways,
she's not a queen. She didn't do anything. She just married Elvis.
She fucked Elvis. Who gives a shit?
She doesn't make her the queen of rock and roll.
Hell no.
That's Joan Jett.
Hello, Aretha Franklin. Anyways, whatever. So they've established that like if you rip open the suit, that's bad.
Yes. Foreshadowing.
And also that Dustin Hoffman and Kevin Spacey,
Rapey
that
Spacey.
Fucking red dye job is. How did I not notice it in the 90s? I guess I wasn't too familiar with Kevin Spacey back then.
But my question is like, was that his choice for the character to make him a redhead?
Maybe.
Like, what was the point?
Remember Seven? Didn't he have a big like widow's peak?
Or
something like he had really unusual hair at Seven.
Yeah,
maybe he was trying to establish himself as a weird hair guy.
That's the Daniel Day-Lewis.
Or Usual Suspects. Didn't he have a crazy haircut? I haven't seen either film.
No, he just had a receding hairline.
No,
he's always had
that. He stylized his hair in one of those films in an unusual way.
Well, you could say that about every Kevin Spacey movie.
Well, I have to assume that they made him a redhead to make him either untrustworthy, hateable, or he's going to die.
So they're BFFs. They've been working together for God knows how long.
Yeah.
So then Dustin Hoffman has to go over to his old house where he lived, where he was happily married once with Renee Russo, and she's getting rid of all the photos, and he gets mad. Yeah,
they have a really boring conversation.
Really, really boring.
Yeah, there's a really boring divorce going on.
Every Dustin Hoffman talks, he's acting.
They could have cut all of this out. It didn't matter really at all.
The love story is the weakest.
They didn't need to have that at all. They could just have them husband and wife working together. It wouldn't have mattered at all.
But then he wouldn't have had the scene when he looks through all the photographs and he goes, "You keep the photos." He's such a baby in this movie.
He's like
an over-emotional.
He's like, "You're giving me all the photos." He's like, I don't want them.
You
take them. I don't want them either. A bunch of babies.
I hope you get a disease and die.
And I remember always thinking this film, what's missing is like its title's of course Outbreak, but it's missing the exclamation point at the end, like Outbreak, like the 70s disaster movies, because that's where I started to get a total Irwin Allen.
Yeah, it should have been out exclamation part break exclamation mark.
But an Irwin Allen kind of 70s disaster vibe, because those films usually tacked in like a soap opera, like love story or whatever.
That's the problem with these kind of things. They got to try to make it. They try to appeal to everybody.
And the thing is, she just disappears from the movie for the rest of the first act.
Yeah. Then Kevin Spacey and the Hoff, and we meet Cuba Gooding Jr. on their way back to Zaire because there's been another outbreak.
Well, this is like, I mean, but they think it's just the first outbreak.
Well, have we left out Patrick Dempsey?
We haven't met him yet.
We're not there yet. We're not yet. Yeah, so presumably Darth Sutherland took the blood and then nuked the town and pretended like it never happened.
Yeah, that's what he does.
So as far as they know, this is the first ever outbreak of hemorrhagic fever.
Yeah.
So off they go.
And of course, it says Cuba Gooding Jr.'s first mission, and he's like, "Oh, I could do anything, sir." Like, and then as soon as they get in the tent, I'm saying to Garth, Gus and Tammy, Garth and. Anyways, they say like, "Oh, he's gonna just whatever you do, don't barf in your mask.
Don't barf in your suit."
I say if you barf in your suit, it's gonna go all over your mask. It's gonna drain down your body through your groin.
But barf in your suit, like if the alternative is getting hemorrhagic fever or barfing in your suit.
Yeah. So what does he do? He does both. He barfs in his suit, then rips his helmet off like a fucking idiot.
And by the way, this shot back to the classic. If you haven't seen it, it's that BBC series League of Gentlemen, where a doctor character in that brilliant show attempts to do this kind of weird creature autopsy.
Like an alien autopsy. Yeah,
wearing one of these suits, and he vomits inside the mask helmet. It's so
it's
a hilarious moment, and I totally thought of League of Gentlemen when I saw this.
So helicopter lands, and I wrote down helicopter blowing barfy, bloody dirt around. Like they always land like right in the middle in front of everybody. Like, just barf and blood flying in everyone's faces, and then you see the mysterious Juju
man up on the cliff who's just
and Hollywood black man.
Yeah, and then he's there, and then he's dropped instantly.
And oddly enough, the dissolve when you first see him is actually from like a monkey image. It totally puts their faces together in a dissolve. And I was
that's kind of
all right, editor, where are you going with this? I don't know
because Dustin Hoffman says to the leader of the village he's in, and he says, "Who's that dude? I want to talk to him." And he goes, "Oh, it's the local witch doctor, the Juju guy."
I'm like, Jujubes?
Zig Smokey.
But it's the Jujube man.
By the way, he's amazing. Zig Smokey also in Richard Stanley's Dust Devil and Serpent in the Rainbow.
Cool.
That's
not seen both movies.
Serpent in the
There
Rainbow
are no
is
nerds
not.
here.
But then he said, "I want to talk to him," and then the guy says, "You can't talk to him," and then that's the end of it. He has actually absolutely nothing to do with the movie.
The dude says it's not airborne. Yeah, so
it's not airborne.
Cuba Gooding Jr. I've seen this movie a bunch of times, and I could never. Why are you ripping open your fucking spacesuit?
Because he's an idiot.
Nothing would. I would put on a second spacesuit before I ripped off my spacesuit.
He's supposed to be a professional, and he does the worst thing you could possibly do because he panics for no reason really.
Well, no, I know he panics. They're in the camp. I remember the total trigger image when he pulls the. It's a pretty horrible. Yeah, he opens the curtain on the hospital bed.
And it's Kevin Spacey in the shower.
Yeah, well, that's what you're going for, weren't you?
Oh my God, you corrupted me.
You're so predictable as your build-up.
I actually wasn't going for that. That's really funny you said that because because we didn't really talk about what sets him off on the puking.
Yeah, it was some kid.
And it's like a little kid with dead parents.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The kid's crying on a bed with his dead parents.
And the kid's got pustules and shit. It's horrible.
That's hilarious that you...
That is hilarious.
That's hilarious that you plugged in... No, not the kid himself. What's hilarious is that Dylan plugged in the Kevin Spacey joke. I totally was not going
to... I thought you were...
I could tell.
No, I really wasn't.
He's going to trick you into doing it.
Yeah, I know.
They're on the plane before they get to Zaire, and this movie is just cliche, the motion picture, which is largely why I love it so much. But he's like... all right, so this is your first mission? Yes, sir, it is, sir. Do you know what to expect? Hemorrhagic fevers with pustulation. Yeah. And then the line, yeah, we read the report too. Here's Kevin Spacey to lay it down
That's right.
on the street.
I got this, Hoff. And then he starts talking to him.
This reminded me of that scene in Kids in the Hall Brain Candy. We'll work muscles, hard muscles. Like the Mark McKinney, Scott Thompson scene. Yes, sir. This film was just a notch away. If you turned it a little bit more, it was almost like Zucker Brothers Airplane.
So they take a sample of the blood, and then they go back to America.
Yeah. And then
you see the Juju man one last time.
Yeah. And then
looking at the helicopters, like, oh, nice helicopter.
They cut to like a garden party, and it's funny because he's talking to, is it Donald Sutherland? I can't remember. He's walking around talking to somebody.
So what's hilarious about this movie is, so Donald Sutherland is the big bad, and Dustin Hoffman
he's so evil
is the crusading virologist. In not one scene are they. It's like Wrath of Khan. They're never in the same scene together.
Right. That's
right.
So
they have Morgan Freeman as the go-between.
Okay, yeah. So it's Morgan Freeman and Dustin Hoffman walking in this big party.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you
Dustin Hoffman's all sweaty. He hasn't changed since he got off the plane.
Which he probably should.
And he's got a drink.
it was a giant glass of rum or something.
Rum and
it
orange,
was,
yeah,
it was
gin
full.
and juice.
It was a brown liquor full to the top that he's walking around like this and is never spilling. It's not beer because it's not a beer glass and there's no head on it.
It was some kind of
Like
cocktail.
seriously,
But
I
it
know,
was insane. It was like nobody has what's that, like 8 ounces of rum in one glass? Crazy.
I know it's like an intense, down to the second situation his character's in, like trying to save the world. But it's like, if you're gonna go meet and inform about this horrible disease, shouldn't you like wipe your brow? He's so
he's always
profusely
sweating.
sweaty, and it's like, I've been looking at this virus. And
Well,
stuff,
he's
like he shows up.
He's probably got like airplane toilet.
Well,
paper.
wipe your face.
I imagine the helicopter landed in the party to let him off to go have the drink.
Blowing more barfy dirt around.
Blowing
dog
dirt and
dog shit in people's faces.
That's
what I should have put in my script. Is the helicopter's always landing and blowing shit in people's faces.
Drinks flying out of.
And then Dustin Hoffman still got a piece of toilet paper stuck to his because he's holding a drink, but he's disheveled. So it's
he's totally disheveled.
I know exactly what happened. Is they had the scene, and then it's like, all right, get Dustin into costume, and Dustin Hoffman gets into his camo, and he comes in. It's gonna be this big scene when he bursts in. He's like, "You gotta listen to me, Morgan Freeman. There's a hemorrhagic monkey flu or whatever."
Jimmy
and then
Jimmy
you know
Stewart?
that my Dustin Hoffman has never been all that strong.
No,
but if it's James Cagney, that works too. Anyways, and then it was like Dustin Hoffman's like, I think my character would have a drink. And
now it's a Catherine Hepburn.
So then they had to.
I'm hearing Al Jolson with a stroke.
Hey, mammy.
That's pretty specific.
Al Jolson and the Strokes.
They're
Jolson,
on tour again.
Al Jolson sings "The Stroke" by Billy Squier.
Nobody knows that song.
Yes,
everyone knows that song.
Get with the
it's
program.
a pioneering song of hip hop. It's not a hip hop song, but it was sampled heavily.
Dustin Hoffman's like, I really think he'd be holding a drink. And poor Wolfgang Peterson had to be like, all right, get the star a fucking drink for the scene. You want an eye patch too while you're at it?
It was like, it must have been like in a sippy cup or something because it would have been poured all over him. He's like waving it around like it's like, I don't know, it's like a gun or something.
He's down to the wire, but really, you don't have time to go home, get your dogs, put on a shirt.
Weren't the dogs there? Because the dogs are in a scene coming up, I guess. There's more dogs.
I got the impression they were at the White House or something.
Or
like the governor's mansion.
They're just there. Yeah, something
and he comes bursting in, still wearing his sweaty, disgusting Ebola
his
clothes.
Ebola suit. Ebola clothes.
I assume he changed on the plane.
He's wearing his Ebola sweat.
It's like Jaws, but with a virus, where it's like, if I go on the news and tell everyone that there's a horrible plague.
Or a horrible shark.
And remember, I was wrong. And remember in 91, when you said that everybody was going to get diarrhea, I was wrong. And it's just like, this.
Everybody was going to get diarrhea.
It's totally, again, cliche number 83.
Yeah, like Jaws. And by the way, Jaws, when it came out, was heavily compared to another film of that era.
Orca?
No, it's called Enemy of the People. It's a very seldom seen Steve McQueen film.
Because the sharks were the enemy of the people?
Does he jump a shark?
No, it's not. It's not an action film. It's a serious drama. He has a thick beard. And there's there's top character actors in the film as well.
Top character actors.
But it's of that era. But he plays a doctor who discovers this local spring. There's like a spring that's like is a major piece of profit for the town. It's the town's industry. And this doctor learns of like a poisoning and the town opposes him. Anyway, it's an old theme. It definitely is.
Yeah, so they're like the governor's mansion or whatever, and so Dustin Hoffman comes barging in. And honestly, like Dustin Hoffman is chewing the scenery in a lot of these scenes.
Absolutely.
Everywhere he goes, he freaks out.
Yeah, and this is where when Donald Sutherland first appears with his face on the screen, and boy, does he look evil! Like he's got the silver hair. He's so clean shaven, it's disturbing. His eyebrows are like they're shaved into like a devil arch.
Yeah,
he's got he's got that smooth, creepy, weird voice.
Everything he says is super evil.
He delivers that.
That also gives it away.
Yeah.
It's that 90s prison movie with Stallone, Lockup. Yeah, he plays...
or Tango and Cash. There's two of them.
True, but there's one Lockup where he's actually in prison and it's like...
Is he the warden?
Yeah, he's the wicked warden. It's a very similar character. Even more wicked than Ilsa.
Ooh.
Well, maybe not.
Ooh la la.
So Morgan Freeman walks over to Donald Sutherland and is kind of like, I don't know, I think something's up. And it's like, don't say anything. It'll blow over.
I wrote here. Did he make the virus 20 years ago? Because I didn't know it was him in the beginning.
Yes.
So
you didn't recognize his voice.
And then we have the thing where Dustin Hoffman and the tape and all of that, and the moving and the shaking.
And then we've got a giant boat going to Seattle or San Francisco.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's got a monkey on it.
Yeah.
And this is where it starts. This is where it starts to ramp up and get way more interesting and a lot more
This is when
fun.
it finally starts to happen.
Yeah, and this is where we're introduced to Patrick Dempsey's character, who has the best fucking haircut.
McDreamy.
McDreamy. You see that? It's like, I don't know. Is it taped down to the side of his head and it flares out at the bottom? I don't know what is going on.
And
with
he's got
hair.
the best. He's wearing the best outfit. He's dressed like Matt Dillon in Singles.
Yeah, he is, and he drives for some reason like a 1940s
like
Studebaker.
It's like Archie's car. He has to get out and crank it from the front.
It was like a Tucker or something like that.
An old DeSoto almost. It's
weird. It was awesome.
And long story short, he works at an animal, I guess like a what do they call it? An isolation? Quarantine. He works. I should know that word by now.
Yeah. It's where they drop off monkeys and stuff that they steal from Africa
to be quarantined.
Yeah,
he's illegally selling it to a pet store.
Yeah, so he smuggles it out, and there's the wink wink nod nod guy at the booth to get the monkey out. One of my favorite scenes is when he's driving in the car with the monkey, and he's driving there, and he reaches back, and he's like tickling the monkey or whatever, gives him some water, and the monkey spits on him.
Just spits right in his eye, right in his eyeball.
Right in his eyeball. A huge wad of spit.
Yeah.
Fucking monkey spat on him. It's so awesome.
It's always good. It's almost
you remember Elisa, who used to work here?
Yes.
Awesome woman.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Awesome person in general. But she... in
case she's listening.
When she was a little kid, she told me this story. When she was a little kid, her and her mom visited a zoo. And her mom was teasing either an ape or a monkey in the cage. Like, imitating the movements and stuff.
Her mom was doing that?
Yeah, and suddenly the ape or monkey threw shit at her.
Awesome. Did it land all over? I hope so.
That is. I always love it when animals throw shit at people.
I've got written here: monkey spits, monkey scratch.
Oh yeah,
because he smuggles the monkey out of
quarantine.
And he takes it to a pet shop.
Yeah,
and then
that's big money.
That was also
those small pet shops have got the mucho dinero. Who goes to the pet store to buy a fucking monkey? And the guy already has a monkey.
No, because he wanted to breed.
He's already got one there.
He wanted to start breeding.
But he brought two. Was it two females or two males? Whatever it was. Two the same sex.
He brought the same. Gender of monkey that was already
at monkeys
the
have
store,
genders,
so they couldn't breed.
Or they have sexes? Does it matter? What's the difference?
How do they identify?
How is that monkey identifying?
As an ape. So he brings the monkey to like this little mom and pop pet store.
And this is when we find his name's Jimbo as well.
Oh, his name's Jimbo. Yeah. Because he looks kind of like Jimbo Jones from The Simpsons. Like Bart's
totally.
Like if Jimbo grew up. And became a monkey smuggler.
A monkey smuggler. That's another good name for this movie, Monkey Smugglers.
Oh, dude. The fact that there's a monkey smuggler in this movie just makes it worth the price of admission.
Yeah, and then this is next 15 minutes is my favorite bit in the whole movie. He takes it to the pet shop, and the monkey scratches the pet shop owner.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then so Patrick Dempsey McDreamy has to take the monkey because the guy doesn't want it. He takes off.
And it's not suitable for breeding. Like it's
because it's the same sex. So he lets it go in the woods for some reason.
Yeah, he's just like
a fucking idiot.
He's like, run away, little monkey.
maybe take it to another pet shop.
Yeah, that's not far off, though. I'm not joking. There was a problem recently here in BC. Even worse than the syrupy cocks.
No, I know.
Even worse than what?
Near the mountain, I believe.
Peacocks.
I could be wrong.
I think that's syrupy cocks.
Don't you remember? We had a whole thing about syrupy cocks.
Yeah, but the way you say it, the syrupy cocks.
Syrupy cocks or syrupy cocks.
I believe it was the mountain near SFU. They were finding a lot of exotic snakes not native to the area at all, like large snakes. And it was people who were like buying, they figured it was like pet owners who bought exotic snakes
and then let them go in the wild.
Couldn't handle them and just put them
just
out
like alligator.
locally.
Well, I felt so bad for this monkey because he opens the cage and the monkey runs a bit in the woods and runs back into the cage because it's terrified.
Yeah.
It doesn't live there. It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know anybody.
Yeah.
So it's like, but he has to leave him there, and then he takes off, and then
there's a really nice crane shot as the monkey runs down the log.
Right.
That's the best shot in the whole movie. This monkey was the monkey from Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Wow, it was a famous monkey.
And
Monkey Shines, George Romero.
No, I think was that the same kind of monkey?
It was in a few.
I can't remember. He's really cute though. That monkey.
And everyone thinks it's the monkey from Friends, but it's not Marcel.
There's a monkey in Friends.
Yeah, the first season it was Shameless and Ross had a monkey.
I've watched one third of one episode of that fucking show.
It's
and
hard to watch.
I don't want to see any.
But there is an episode of Friends where Joey gets a part in Outbreak 2. The monkey takes Manhattan.
Oh, really?
And that's kind of funny.
Actually, that's kind of funny.
And they actually got the same costumes, like literally the same costumes that Dustin Hoffman and shit wore.
Right.
for like this one scene in Friends. Joey is in The Monkey Takes Manhattan.
Monkey Takes
or the
Manhattan.
virus. Sorry, The Virus Takes Manhattan.
Oh.
Wasn't that
Monkey
a bit
Takes
of a
Manhattan's
shot?
way better.
'Cause didn't he make that movie Dunstan Checks In? Wasn't he in that?
No, that's one of the other idiots from that show.
With the exception of Jennifer Aniston, every cast member on Friends has appeared with a monkey at one point in their career. That's a fact.
Is Dunstan? That's the chimpanzee who's a baseball player, right? Is that the Dunstan
Yes,
checks
that's
in?
because nowhere in the rules does it say players have to be human. Well, McDreamy starts to get McSweaty.
Well, he's on a plane.
Which is my favorite. First of all, where? Why? You have a car. What the fuck? I don't know. Why are you flying?
Well, he's flying to Boston for some reason.
To bang his girlfriend.
Yeah, I guess. He goes from monkey smuggler right to the plane, and to Boston. But it's great because he's feeling kind of gross, and he eats a bite of a cookie. He sets it down on the tray beside him, the empty seat.
And then this little kid comes up in a cowboy outfit.
Yeah.
All the voiceovers are like, oh, so cute. And I'm thinking, I can't think of an image I want to see die more in a movie than a little kid in a cowboy outfit.
Yeah.
He reaches for and asks for and almost eats Patrick Dempsey's cookie.
He looks he looks like he's a puddle of goo and sweat, and he's go ahead, kid. I'm done with it. Like, don't give your disease-riddled cookie to a child, and stupid child, don't go taking food off disease-riddled old
and stupid mom, don't let your fucking kid run around on a plane. And also, don't dress your kid up as a goddamn... By the way, I've never seen a kid dress as a cowboy, but apparently...
As a thing back in the 90s.
It's the most common thing ever.
But it was really funny because when she comes over, he's about to bite the cookie, and she goes, "Oh, don't eat that." And she looks back to her, "It's okay."
He goes,
No.
He goes,
I don't want to end up on the sheriff's bad list.
No, he goes, "I don't want no trouble with the law."
but the look on her face when he said that, she's just like she was horrified.
No,
she didn't understand what he was referring to as his kid dressed as a cowboy.
No, it's
sheriff,
okay,
whatever.
lady. It's okay. I'm a monkey smuggler. I actually don't want no trouble with the law.
This leads to one of my other favorite scenes in the movie when he gets off the plane.
Oh, it's so great.
And his girlfriend, McDreamy, Jimbo.
Even though he obviously looks like he's about to at least... if he's not going to die, he's at least going to vomit.
He can barely stand. She
runs up and kisses
She actually says, "You look like shit."
You look like shit.
And then the next thing, it's this huge open mouth kiss, like, wow, there's tongues. And it's
he looked like dripping, pouring McSweaty.
Yeah, his eyes are all bulging.
And then on top of that, they do a kiss that no couple would do in public.
It's like they try to swallow each other's heads.
It's like they're in the middle of having passionate sex.
Can you imagine what he would taste like? That he's disease-riddled, he's been on a plane for
he
hours.
tastes like monkey
he
spit.
smuggled a monkey. The monkey spat in his mouth or whatever.
He tastes like bananas. And then immediately he faints.
Yeah.
But Tammy...
No.
If I got off a plane looking like that, Robin would be like,
my God, yeah.
She would call an ambulance.
Yeah, like, go sit down. I don't want to touch you right now.
Put me on ice.
No. The best of times, I don't want to touch you.
Do you think she knew he was a monkey smuggler?
She must have, because they're boyfriend and girlfriend. He's not going to hide the monkey smuggler.
That's why she was so turned on by I smuggle monkeys.
Yeah.
That's a great pickup line. You want to see a monkey?
You want to see my monkey?
It'll scratch you and spit in your face. And I'm not talking about my dick.
I'm not joking. I'm not literally in my head. It's just the way my brain works. I'm hearing George Michael's Monkey song right now. I don't know, why don't you set your monkey free? It was a huge 80s tune. It was like a top 10.
Maybe in your circles. The Dartmouth circles.
I kept thinking of Shock the Monkey. I'm like, if Shock the Monkey isn't played
at some
so he's in the hospital next
Anything
scene.
by the monkeys?
And someone mentions, I think he's got toxic shock syndrome. And
he's got bad tampons?
That's what Tammy said. She goes, "What, the tampon's still stuck in him?"
That's so funny because I thought of that.
He left his tampon in.
Like, I just know that term associated with, like, you know, sanitary conditions of tampons.
And then actually,
I totally thought. And by the way, sorry, what were we just talking about?
The movie we're watching?
No, not that. Like, in a way, the film was so over the top, and then by this point, I thought it too. Like, each panel was so kind of...
What
like
panel?
Each scene or whatever. It
not
almost
a
felt
comic
like
book.
a self-contained, like, parody panel. I kept thinking like I was watching Somehow Come to Life, the Mad Magazine parody.
Yeah, like Airplane.
And the next scene perfectly emphasizes what you're saying is when some dudes and like he's in the hospital or whatever, and there's like centrifuge going around.
Yeah.
He opens up the lid,
Oh,
just
God.
sticks his hand in it.
I know.
Yeah.
He's not even
listening
looking.
to baseball.
He's watching that.
It's like a sports broadcast. Yeah. It's like he sticks his hand in a blender.
Yeah, I know.
So here's
I
blood all
laughed
over
out loud.
So did
like,
I.
It was like literally something off airplanes.
Yeah,
but
totally right.
here's the terrifying thing about this movie is how realistic it is. If a monkey smuggler has the wrong gender, and then it spits
in his face while he's driving.
While he's driving his jalopy, and then he makes out with his girlfriend, and then his blood goes into a centrifuge, and then the guy's watching a baseball game and puts his hand in a spinning centrifuge because there's no lock on it, and blood flies in his fucking face.
He actually opened up the lid, then stuck his hand in it.
Because he's listening to the radio, and what's so ridiculous
must have been a good baseball game.
He's obviously working in a facility, so A, he should know better. Secondly,
why is there a TV there in the first place?
He should know, he should know better, not be distracted. Secondly, because it's like a parody level that he's distracted and injured and stuff. Secondly, he gets examined and they okay him. Oh, no, just go out, you'll be fine. Like he's working in a lab that deals with deadly samples. Yeah. Even if it is the most trivial sample that he contaminates himself with, you think they're going to say the most extreme, like, no, stay home, or we're going to monitor you here.
Yeah.
But no, go to the movies.
Yeah.
But he makes
like,
a joke.
Was that the guy in the movie theater?
He even says, I'm really worried. I don't want to give anything to my girlfriend. And the doctor goes, flowers would be nice. He's just got a bunch of strangers' blood. That was
all
probably being in that centrifuge to be tested for something.
Yeah.
And it's like
in the 90s.
The viewer hasn't seen this. It may as well be a horror movie where like someone get axed in front of him. The blood soaks him. Like he's soaked.
I know.
It's like a joke.
We're not talking a little.
It was like Peter Jackson. Like
it's gore effect.
And then they're in the hospital with McDreamy, and someone goes, "Give him some gumoglobulin or something." And Gus Tam and I just kept riffing on it. Gumoglobulin, globble, globble, golem, globus.
Great green gobs of greasy, grimy gopher guts.
Give him some.
It was so funny.
Give him some.
It was so funny.
Give him some. Like studio. You just make up a silly '80s.
Give me some gumoglobulin. And then everyone's eyes are bleeding, and then
da.
Oh, and then his girlfriend is watching him die, and she's like, and then Rene Russo is just like Jimbo. Like she calm James. I don't know, like Jimbo?
Like
Jimbo, Bimbo. How you doing, buddy?
Also, when the pet shop owner gets sick, the doctor's so over the top with Rudy. It's like it's his best friend.
Cliche number 90.
Was this when the pet shop owner falls over and all the aquariums?
He falls through a terrarium, and all the tarantulas get freezed. That's another horror movie, right?
Yeah.
The Kingdom of the Spiders is after Outbreak.
And that was another, like, it was just total over the top hysteric, the acting throughout the movie, because it's like the scene where Patrick Dempsey dies would have been far more disturbing if the girl's just laying next to him, the girlfriend is just laying next to him, watching it, and it's like maybe realizing through her
she's
expression.
Gonna die.
So more like,
she's hysterical.
She's so over the top.
It's one of those things that always pisses me off when someone's trying to ask somebody or something and they're hysterical. I've never been hysterical. I don't know anybody who's acted that way.
It's true.
And so the doctor's trying to get some information. She's just screaming.
And
just hurry up and die.
I'm thinking Zucker Brothers, like, wait, calm down when they keep slapping the person.
So after this, right? So the girlfriend is like, oh my God, he's gonna die. Whatever. This poor actress has two scenes.
Yes.
She's making out with Sweaty Jim.
And then she's covered in pus.
She's covered in pus and dying. It's like her big break.
Yeah.
I'm in a Dustin Hoffman movie.
With
Patrick
she's on the phone,
Dempsey.
Mom, Dad.
Oh, you get to meet sexy. I get to make out with Patrick Dempsey, and then he shows up on set and they like spray him with fucking gelatinous oil.
Yeah,
put blood around his face.
Eyes, bleeding eyes. So
the centrifuge is, as Alex would find unpronounceable, Deus Ex Machina. Like it's like there's just no fucking way that would ever happen.
No. The centrifuge guy is in the movie theater. Where is he? Where is this? Is this in Boston? Because he's going to a movie theater in a small town somewhere outside of Boston. Far away from Boston.
It's not a small town. The Outbreak is in Boston.
No, the Outbreak's in a tiny town.
No, the first Outbreak.
Oh, the first Outbreak, sorry.
The first Outbreak was, there are two separate outbreaks. There's the one from the movie theater.
I want to clarify what is happening
because I didn't quite know either, but they say it later in the movie. They say, we have the movie theater in Boston, but now we have this one on the coast. So it's two separate outbreaks, but they controlled the movie theater one somehow.
So was that the whole thing dropped? Because everyone that was in the movie theater got sick and ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
But was that a hospital in Boston? Was that a hospital in the small town?
Or maybe it's just outside of Boston or something. But
yeah,
they make reference to.
No, it was in California because it was on the coast. They had the nice. Well, Boston's on the coast as well.
It was the East Coast, wasn't it?
Was it the East Coast?
2 separate outbreaks.
The whole bit with these theater was my favorite thing in the whole movie.
Yes.
Packed theater. And I don't know what, doesn't matter what movie. They're watching a movie.
Yeah, why is he going to the movies if he's feeling that bad?
And he's sitting there just coughing, not covering his mouth.
Not covering his mouth. And he works in a hospital.
I know.
Again, a
He's
medical
he's all sweating. And his girlfriend doesn't even notice this.
Yeah.
Like, and then he's like, oh!
He's about the point of view of his, like,
you see it all the little molecules, and it ends up in some woman's giant mouth.
They actually do
loud
that.
and hysterically.
They do that in the Ebola syndrome throughout. There's POV shots.
Whenever they have virus eye view, it just makes me laugh.
It's hilarious.
And then bouncing into popcorn. You see, he goes into someone's popcorn. You see fingers come and pick it up and eat it.
You see, and she finally notices like his date is
water.
dying there, and it's like
This scene I adored.
And he staggers out.
Again, a medical professional.
But my question is, why are there so many fucking people at the concession stand while
When
the movie's on?
Yeah, you're
like,
right.
There's like 30 people there. And he's barreling
The
through
movie
them.
hadn't started yet. It was a cartoon.
What was it?
Because it's on the screen in the background. You can
Was
see
it?
It's a cartoon.
Well, everyone's laughing hysterically.
Well, he has seen it 5 times.
That's true.
And also,
he's done like an he hasn't just analyzed
but
himself, he's done an autopsy of this.
Jesus, you drink fast.
And so yeah, he staggers through a whole group of people.
Yeah, all sweaty.
They're all sweaty, and he's banging at everybody. He doesn't walk around.
The popcorn lady screams
She
like
screams.
he's a monster.
He's like spitting on her. Yeah.
And then he collapses. It's so
People
funny.
are all
And
screaming
now,
at
what
him.
they should have done in this movie is because there's another scene, and then it cuts to the hospital, and Dustin Hoffman goes, apparently they all picked it up in a movie theater. It should have been a smash
So
cut.
is that
should have been a smash
is
cut.
that your Ethel Merman?
Well, that's my Dustin Hoffman, Dustin Merman. He, but I remember seeing it in the theater and laughing out loud because I remember immediately thinking of Steve McQueen, The Blob, where the Blob comes into a movie theater, or any movie where a monster comes into a movie theater.
Yeah.
Gremlins, like, I'm in a movie theater and I have popcorn. It's so lame. Like,
yeah, they call the health department, and Tammy, Gus, and I were convinced it was called the Clowny Health Department. And so we were riffing on that for the rest
like
of the
little tiny ambulance.
Yeah, it was all about that. The clowns. But
they're in the purple, the blue rubber suits.
Yeah, they pull up in a Volkswagen and 10 clowns get out of it. And then there's a fax coming in while they're all celebrating that the virus is contained.
We killed that virus.
And so let's throw all our research in the air. There's papers
it's
scattered
like
all over the
celebration
place.
going.
I know. It's like they land on the fucking moon or something.
Why do people always throw their research in the air?
I know. Stop doing that.
Like, it might come in handy.
And then we find out Donald Sutherland's name is McClintock.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. It's so.
Isn't that a film title on its own? I'm looking up. I'm sure there's a movie called.
So the first outbreak was from the movie theater.
Right.
And apparently it was in Boston.
Okay.
It's kind of complicated. There's the two monkeys. There's the 2 monkeys in the at the pet store, right?
Yeah.
And the fucking pet store guy gets
scratched by
McMonkey. And then he gets sick, and they take him to the morgue or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
to the morgue.
And then McDreamy releases McMonkey out into the woods, and McSweaty becomes McSweaty, and McMelty, and McDead.
McKissy.
And then Morgan Freeman feels guilty, so he brings the antidote and cures all the people at the hospital from the movie theater.
Okay.
But there's the other dude
that's become airborne.
Yeah.
And this is in the small town.
And
how did you get to the small town then?
Because the small town is near the pet store where McMelty dropped off.
McMelty.
He dropped off McMonkey. And that's how they know, because they find the other monkey and they go, oh, this must be the outbreak monkey, but they're like, oh no, it's the wrong. So
now it's unnecessarily complicated.
It is unnecessarily complicated because it could have just been one town, one outbreak.
Yeah. And so there's a small town that everyone's getting sick, and so they're bringing the army in.
Yeah. So the Boston one, but that's how Dustin Hoffman figures out.
Right.
That they had it all along is wait a minute,
because he
gave me the cure.
He finds that sack with the numbers on it.
He finds the sack.
The sack with the numbers on it. Punk
E-1011.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I love how the serums have different colors, so it doesn't confuse the audience. Because Cuba Gooding Jr. says, "Oh, it's orange juice."
all of a sudden, Cuba Gooding Jr. he's the guy that does everything. He can fly
He does
helicopters, and this is where we're getting a lot of helicopter
He
action.
can puke in his suit.
But anyways, so they get to the town and they start cordoning it off, and all these guys in guns start jumping. I was like, why does everyone are they going to shoot the virus? Mr. Freeze. Oh.
Darth Sutherland, like, I know he wants to keep his virus, so it's a weapon.
Actually, there's a great scene just before this happened when he's standing in a room and he's whispering into the phone. He's like, he's like, because he's got that smooth voice, and we're like, what? Who is this? It was so funny because he's standing against the wall in the corner, whispering into the phone.
Oh, totally. And there's like two dudes right next to him. He's like, make sure that the press doesn't find out, and that what we're doing is totally illegal.
Get that bomb ready.
Kill everyone who knows about what we're talking about right
and
now.
especially kill Dustin Hoffman for some reason. I hate that guy. He has a hard on for the Hoff. Like he just he wants to murder Dustin Hoffman for the rest of the movie for some reason, and that's his whole objective.
Eventually it becomes a helicopter thing. They cordon off the town, and there's that awesome scene where you got to have the good old boys who drive through a barn.
Oh yeah, we're getting out of here
again. Like I originally saw this movie on TV. Something it's like Dukes of Hazzard. You almost think these two guys are going to be like spin-off subplots, like they're survivalists somewhere in the woods, but they just wipe them out and capture.
Well, it's like two tracks,
which I thought was awesome.
Like kids, get down. Look at Alex Jones on the radio.
Dukes of Hazzard level.
All
it was missing was that
the banjo,
or like a freeze frame right before they get machine gunned to death. And the monkey goes like, oh no, and a massive killcopter. It's like. They're making her run. They're making her run for the forest. You know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
obviously the whole town is quarantined.
But what are they gonna do? You can't drive a truck into the forest. You crash into a tree.
And you're gonna run, and the soldiers will catch you.
And where are you going?
Well, it's panic, and that's what was so funny about this film too. Is like, obviously, what's being depicted in the film is so over the top. It's a thriller.
Yeah.
It's got to be over the top. It's got to present worst case scenarios to be entertaining. But it's like. Every last reaction in this film among the public was one of hysterics.
They have I guess there's an area they have cordoned off so the doctors can go in and work, and everyone's like freaking out. Everyone's like shouting and stuff. But all the soldiers and all the doctors are wearing masks, and all the population is standing there. Like go home, you fucking idiots! Like everyone, don't you know that they're all wearing masks and nobody else has a mask?
And also, and it's like and it's just like at the same time you can see why within the world of the movie, like everyone's panicking because it's like the people in charge are showing up in fully protective suits that you don't have access to. My god!
They're in their short shorts and their tank tops and they're yelling.
Like I'm keeping my calm so far during Corona, but if I get a knock on the door tomorrow and there's like a government official there in some kind of like latex suit of armor, nobody's
coming to your house.
No, I know that.
No.
Yeah, they make a run for the border, and the rednecks get machine gunned. And of course, the helicopter pilots feel really bad about it. They're like, what are you doing, guys? Turn around. Oh, well. Like, all right, let's go home.
And then they just keep
Taco
shooting them
Tuesday.
and shooting them. Yeah.
Outside of this town, it's just a regular day.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone's all sick, and then for some reason there's this weird Gone with the Wind moment where it's the woman. It's like,
oh, I know,
I have to go now, kids.
And she's all like red around the nose. Her eyes are almost bleeding.
She's still beautiful.
She's very attractive, but she looks terrible. And I just think, give mommy a kiss.
The little girl runs over to hug her, and the father's like, no.
Stay away from your diseased whore bag of a mother.
I laughed throughout that.
How did you catch that anyways?
I laughed throughout that scene. I was expecting her to like walk out the door and again slapstick comedy like a truck throws up.
I was expecting her to survive because not only did they show her, but they showed her blood. Because she was number 612, a vial of blood that went somewhere.
At the end, somehow they'll bring her.
But no, they just showed her as being zipped up in a body bag later on.
No, she's not Renee Russo, so she can die.
Yeah.
She goes up front, and there's like 4 Darth Vaders fucking standing there. And then they're all polite. They open the door.
But if you notice, when after she gets in, they drive off. They drive down the street, and then there's like scenes of like pickup, like a giant trucks, like herding people into the back. Like, why is she getting the special
she's going
Jeep
to the prom.
treatment?
Now, when does Kevin Spacey bite the bullet?
In the next scene, I have redheaded Spacey's gonna die because his little hose gets hooked on something, and he walks one step, and which is a springy hose, which should just go with them.
Yeah.
But it just tears the whole. It rips the whole back of his suit off.
And you can practically see his like red and white like
his boxer
under
shorts.
Boxer shorts, like ooh.
Yeah. No, he's going commando.
And then he covers it up and he runs in and he whatever.
Well,
immediately exposes himself to everybody in the lab.
Always in these movies, it's the people that should know better do not tell people when they have a problem. And so he gets exposed. He didn't tell anybody, and so he goes back to work, endangers everybody around him, but it's like
it's
ridiculous.
Like that professional pride, which is ridiculous. And costume tears so easily. It's such a minor thing too. It's not like a big piece of equipment falls on him. It's like his hose while he's walking across the room catches on a tabletop.
But it's a springy hose. It should spring with it,
and it tears. And it's almost like tissue.
It rips his whole
he's
back open.
He's scratching his nuts and he rips his. Renee Russo. Kevin Spacey starts hyperventilating, and he faints.
She's trying to give him a needle,
and she stabs herself with a syringe
because she's an idiot as well.
Everyone's a moron.
The expert,
and so now
everybody does everything wrong in this movie.
One professional slip up in the film I would have bought, but it's to like comic level.
I know.
Yeah, it's
yet another member of the team.
Yeah, it's like the Keystone Cops.
Yeah, totally.
But anyway, so now she's got it. So now Dustin Hoffman really cares, and then he confronts Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman's at a desk, and Dustin Hoffman comes in, and it's like, "You're being insubordinate, Mister."
Tells him the
tries
truth.
to remind him of like. He tries to remind Morgan of like his idealistic roots,
right? And then to shut up. Just tell him to shut up.
And he's like, "My wife has the plague," and then Morgan Freeman goes, "Don't you mean your ex-wife?"
Yeah, I know. So it's like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't care about her.
Oh,
She's
my
ex-wife.
Yeah, and it's like,
you're right.
Morgan Freeman at this point is like, I gotta throw him off my tail with like syntax arguments.
So then a warrant goes out for his arrest.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to go look for the monkey.
Right.
And we have to go now. And Cuba Gooding Jr. looks out the window and he sees like the evil bad guy Jeep coming. And he's like, "Sir, we have to go right now."
Uh-huh.
And the thing is, they're both still wearing those ridiculous like rubber suits. And it's like, "Right now, sir, right now, we're going to get arrested." You see the Jeep. You see the Jeep pull up and the bad guys jump out. Like, it cuts to Cuba Gooding Jr. and Dustin Hoffman like stepping out of the shower and getting like...
Well, they're taking their time getting hosed down.
It's like they're shaving and putting on deodorant.
Yeah.
You know, aftershave. It's like an Aqua Velva
trimming
commercial.
their toenails.
Yeah, it's like, can I borrow your comb?
They switch in the military.
Well, I mean, but they were both military people. But like,
I always love camouflage in these kind of movies. You can still see them. You're not camouflaged whatsoever. You're not in a jungle. You're in a small town.
Yeah,
you're
running around. They have urban camouflage.
What? So they look like buildings?
And I've even seen pink camouflage, but I think that's fake.
You've seen what?
Pink camouflage?
Like what? In case they're like in like a
pack of flamingos.
Yeah.
They're surrounded by fiberglass or insulation.
Yeah, they're installing insulation. And they don't want anyone to see what they're doing.
Fade right in.
Yeah.
So now Cuba Gooding Jr. and Dustin Hoffman have to steal a helicopter, and Dustin Hoffman charges in, just a bunch of guff. He's all like, "Didn't General McGillicuddy give you the message?" Like,
I know.
It's
like
so
Gomer
ridiculous. Pyle, like,
hey, look over there, and they run and steal the helicopter.
No, but there's this bit where he's like, "Pick up the phone and put your finger on the phone."
Oh yeah,
put it in the level.
Finger, he goes, "Finger it, finger it, put your finger on the phone."
Yeah, I got the level here. Seriously, it's like, "Hey, buddy, your shoelaces are untied," and then you like run past them. Yeah.
And then,
it was so bad.
And then also then there's a helicopter pilot there, and it's like, "Oh, he went inside to take a leak."
Yeah. I know. Like, what are you talking about?
What? And they fly away
to a small town.
Yeah. No. They don't know it's. So they go to the...
Where the pet shop was.
Well, no,
they go to the pet shop and they figure out it's the wrong monkey.
And they're trying to figure out where the monkey came from, like what ship. So they go to that, like some kind of... There's like a countertop with long lineups.
Yep.
And they're going there to talk about ships. It's never really clear.
Well, it's funny. He barges through the line to get to the guy, and the guy's like, "Back of the line, buddy."
No. It's hilarious because the building just says Federal Building.
Yeah.
And they land a helicopter on top, and they're like, "We come from disease land," and everyone's like, "Ooh," and he grabs the woman's hand.
Yeah. No. It was the guy's hand who said get it back. Like he grabs both of his hands.
He says Dustin Hoffman's like, "Hi, I'm Dustin Hoffman from whatever disease center," and the guy's like, That's nice. I'm George from San Diego. And I totally heard in my head, George from Seinfeld.
That's because you have a crazy head.
No, because he looks exactly like George Costanza.
Not exactly. But this is a great scene because and then he yells back to this woman, blah, 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 Miss Panini. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I wrote down my notes. She hates her job.
Oh, totally. And it's like,
having the affair with the Coast Guard,
which is awesome. And I go, oh, Mrs. Panini, you salty dog, you.
Oh, no. Because she's got the manifests or whatever, so they go over. And so Cuba Gooding Jr., they're reading them off, and it's like, was there a monkey on this boat?
Right.
No. Was there a monkey on this boat? No. Third boat.
That's always the third one.
There was a monkey on this boat. Like, what's the third?
And then,
probably fucking hundreds of boats.
And so, like, this leads to my other next favorite scene when they jump back in the helicopter and they fly out. And then for some reason, there's a discussion about flying in the fog, like it's a thing. So
can we just before
that?
Yes,
please.
But yeah, so it's like, first of all, you got Deus Ex Machina, where it just happens to be the third boat down this, like, what would probably be a list of like 1,000.
Always the third one.
And then it's like, but how are we gonna find out the information? And she's like, I'm fucking someone at the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, isn't that lucky?
But his wife doesn't know.
Just like,
I want to know that story. I want to know how Mrs. Panini is having an affair with the Coast Guard.
What's her name? Really, Mrs. Panini?
But it's Paninini or something. We just call her Miss Panini.
All those women are now called Mrs. Panini.
But yeah.
So then they get in the helicopter.
Yeah, and they fly out to the boat through the fog, which they alluded to would be a problem because Cuba Gooding Jr. I've never flown. Yeah. Dustin Hoffman says, "Have you ever flown through fog before?" He's like, "No, I don't know anything about it." Like, you don't know anything about fog? Like, you've never seen fog?
He's
Like, it alludes that he's never. But anyways, they get into the boat, and so the helicopter.
The stunt?
Get me closer! Get me closer!
This is my favorite moment in the whole movie. When I saw it the first time, I was in hysterics in the theater.
Please describe the scene.
It's because, again, they wanted to sell this as, and Dustin Hoffman did his own stunt,
which
and it was
should have been Harrison Ford.
It should have been, right? And it's like
not 5'2" Dustin Hoffman.
And it's the MASH helicopter, and it's just like, well, it's not even not much to say. It's just, but the music is like, he has to jump out of the helicopter because there's nowhere safe to land on the ship. So it's like you have to get out of the ship and get into clear space. Well, or you could just shout "clear space" and get them to clear it.
Well, because he says, "How am I going to get picked up?" Well, they'll clear space. Why don't you just clear space so we can land?
But so he has to jump out of the helicopter, and it's like onto a lifeboat.
Yeah.
Which obviously has a bunch of soft cushions for Dustin Hoffman.
Of course, it's full of life jackets, right?
The thing. But the music is like dun 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 dun.
Well, the thing is, I'm picturing
like he's like Jackie Chan or some shit.
Because when he leaps off, because you're putting all your pressure on your lower half, your legs, and you're springing off it. That's going to push the helicopter like this. And he's just going straight down the ocean.
Oh yeah, right. I never even thought of that. Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking at the physics of it.
So he just sort of falls off this helicopter, roughly 4 feet onto a perfectly safe. But it's like, oh my god, can you believe Dustin?
The staff, the crew, whatever you call them, they're like, what the fuck is going on?
Like a hijacking.
Yeah, well, by a small man. It's not going to be much of a hijacking.
But when a helicopter pulls up, though, you're like, what the fuck? But here's the thing, too. I can't remember exactly what point it happens. So maybe my favorite moment in this movie, it made me laugh completely, like,
out loud.
And then I had to replay it because I couldn't believe it actually happened. And then after the movie was done, I went back to it one more time.
And then
masturbated to it. Flopped in here sometime again. I almost felt like I was watching a breakfast commercial. A little girl sitting at the table and the mother brings the breakfast over and they start talking about the drawing of a monkey.
Right.
And then the mother's like, does that pet monkey of yours like apple slices? Like my little monkey? And Peter, I totally was waiting to hear and Nabisco brings you.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Scene, completely self-contained. Like a breakfast,
an out breakfast.
I'll tell you because this leads to one of my other favorite bits in the movie is when Dustin
Hoffman they're on the ship,
and he's just strolling around looking for shit.
It's like a Korean ship or something.
Then all of a sudden, the guy who speaks a little bit of English knows exactly what he's talking about. We're watching the movie, and I say to my wife and kids, like, well, what is he? Is it looking for like? Are there pictures of the monkey on the boat? And so he goes into the guys where the little cabin. He's got his bunk. And he discovers that there's some pictures underneath because he's in the bottom of the bunk, and there's some pictures on the top of the bottom.
Oh yeah,
the top bunk. On the bottom of the top bunk.
He even says, because there's nothing.
Yeah.
And he goes, take me to this man's sleeping quarters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have went there
He
first.
might have I would have never gone there.
He has like all these pictures of the monkey. Like,
Yeah.
is he
And they're all over
masturbating
the
on the
boat.
boat to the monkey? Because he's on a boat for 8 months, and this is his spank pictures of him and a monkey.
What's this?
Yeah, because they're on the ceiling right above his
Yeah,
bed.
so, they should have had like the pictures like stain covered in jizz or something like that.
Yeah, but I was also thinking too, like all these guys are like monkey, huh? What monkey? And the photos are like the guy on the deck of the boat with the
It was
monkey
so
on his
funny.
shoulder.
It was so
It's like you would totally
ridiculous.
see, like as if somehow he kept this monkey hidden from his crew members. It's
Yeah,
photos of
and it was his best friend on the boat.
I
on
don't
the boat.
I don't even know if he kept it secret.
But everyone seems confused by
But
the
who falls asleep gazing at photos of themselves with a,
With a
monkey on
monkey.
their shoulder
But-
instead of a naked woman?
Well, there's a picture of a monkey on his shoulder, and there's also just a picture of the monkey going.
Well, I guess you know what? It only means one thing. The poor guy had a monkey on his back.
They actually have the picture of the monkey.
So now they know what
They know what the monkey looks like because the little girl has seen the monkey for some reason come to her window like fucking Salem's Lot with those Glick brothers scratching at the window to get in and suck her blood.
And then the one scene too, you actually see them together up to this point. The monkey's looking through the window as the girl sleeps, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's like the next thing you know, she's drawing pictures of it. I thought it was going to be like a moment, like I didn't take the scene seriously, but I thought it was going to be, this monkey's going to stalk the kid while it's sleeping, or maybe bite her or something.
Well,
I didn't think they're going to become friends.
It's funny because she drew a picture of the monkey, which looks nothing like the monkey.
My first
and it's totally the cereal commercials.
my first thought was it looks like Michael Jackson, like the way it was drawn.
Michael Jackson and Bubbles.
And it's like the little girl. I'm like,
it was the tail. That
so
gave
it's
it
like
away, right?
Michael Jackson's also in the forest, like creeping up on the.
Which
But anyway,
wouldn't surprise
so
anybody.
Cuba Gooding Jr. and Dustin Hoffman now go to the local television station.
Right.
Yeah, they arrive
with
just on time. Like they know a broadcast about them that split seconds on, and they time it to invade during the broadcast.
I love that they run in with a gun and threaten everybody.
And it's during, right at the moment, like it's like literally a split second after these two men are wanted infected fugitives, and then a split second later, no, we're not. Like they come in right at that moment.
It's like when a celebrity appears on Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, exactly like that.
So they've got the photo of this little monkey. And by the way, for all they know, they could be transmitting the fucking disease everywhere they go. Dustin Hoffman goes on TV and says, like, we're looking for a monkey, and it looks like this. And the mother is like, holy shit, that's the fucking monkey my little kid has been drawing that looks like Michael Jackson. This whole time I just thought it was Michael Jackson.
And then she runs out and screams at the kid who's like at the edge of the woods.
So this whole time, Darth Sutherland and his evil helicopter friend are like just they're always just moments behind. Like, I'll get you, Gadget. And so they go on the news, and then they come racing out, and they jump in the helicopter and fly away.
Again.
Like, and they just landed this helicopter everywhere.
Can you land a helicopter on a TV station that easily?
Oh yeah,
and right up to the split second, they're talking about you on the air.
Well, back in that day, if you notice, the satellite dishes are like 40 feet across. There's no way you can land a helicopter on top of a television.
It wasn't. They landed in the parking lot, I think.
Oh, that's
and
why wouldn't they?
I think Donald Sutherland
probably cut a few
saw
heads
the
off.
news. It's like one of those things where it's like, I really hate the Hoff, and then all of a sudden he looks over on the television.
He's on TV,
and it's like, there he is,
get him.
Every time you say the Hoff, I keep thinking David Hasselhoff.
Well, of course,
that's all right.
But the real Hoff is
Dustin
the
Hoffman,
one who's won 2 Academy Awards.
Yes.
Like when he gets into the helicopter, the conversation was basically Donald Sutherland saying to the helicopter pilot, "Just to be clear, you're an evil helicopter pilot, right?" "Oh, yes, sir." Great.
You do everything I say, right?
At some point in the movie where he asks the guy if he wants to be a general, it'll never happen.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he totally is like.
It'll come back to haunt him.
Stroking people with like rank questions. Yeah.
Stroking people. There's a lot of stroking.
So then I guess they land a helicopter in the backyard of this nice family.
Yes.
Like, I don't know where they, in the cul-de-sac? I don't know where they landed the helicopter.
They just landed in their front yard. They destroyed their swing set.
Yeah, and there's bloody mucus and dog shit flying everywhere.
Some of that dog.
Helicopters landing always makes me laugh because there's just so much shit thrown around.
One thing I've always wondered, when people get out of helicopters, why do they duck?
So they don't get their fucking head cut off.
No one's ever. The only decapitation I ever saw with a helicopter was in Dawn of the Dead, but it was like a zombie that had a giant extended head that stood on a box to get his head cut off by a rotor.
Because
but
I know what you mean.
There's no way that you're going to get your head cut off.
This came
they
up
wouldn't,
at
they wouldn't make helicopters that would cut people's heads off if they didn't crouch when they got out of it.
This came up at a party it was at in Halifax in the mid-90s. Came up, why do people duck exiting helicopters? And at one point someone said, it's because, yet the ducky will get hit by the propeller. And
No.
my friend Stacy blurted, just make them taller. Like,
Yeah, because they know that they're tall enough. If they weren't tall enough, there would be like thousands of people that would have had their heads
I'm
cut
guessing
off.
it's just like you're bracing yourself against a strong gust of wind.
I
That's coming
guess.
downward.
Is it a natural thing to sort of
I think
hunker down?
structurally you can't just have the propeller like really, really high up.
Yeah, you know.
It has to be attached to the body of
But
the helicopter.
yeah,
Just
but
make
it's not 5
the
feet
landing
off
gear
the.
taller or whatever.
Yeah, it's not 5 feet off the
No,
ground.
but then you're still getting decapitated when you get out of the
Well,
helicopter.
just make it taller than
well, you're
the
not
average
jumping up to
person.
get out of the
Make it
helicopter.
70 feet.
Why do you guys have such a problem with people being erring on the side of caution when they step out of
I
a
just
helicopter?
always wondered about that. I've never been in a
Although,
helicopter.
I
so-
first noticed it in the opening credits of MASH when I was a kid. That's when I first became aware that people should or usually do
They always duck.
coming out of under a helicopter.
Well, you're a tall guy, dude. You should totally duck. when
I've
you get out
never,
of a
well, I've
helicopter.
never been on a helicopter.
Yeah, me either. But how about we get back to the
Planet Terror. Sorry, Planet Terror.
Planet Terror is a lot of fun.
Mass decapitation.
They land a helicopter at the family where the little girl has her monkey friend.
Yeah.
And then so they have to get the monkey, so they use the little girl as
And
bait.
Dustin Hoffman once again, all intense and sweaty.
Yeah.
Can you go get Michael Jackson? I mean, a monkey.
Yeah.
He bribes her with his nose.
Well,
a chance to
here,
punch him.
carry these apples into the woods to get that disease-ridden monkey, so we can shoot it.
He's like, and if I'm wrong, you can punch me in the nose.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and
Well,
it's a good nose. I would have loved if
that-
she just hauled off and hit him and
Oh, me
like
too.
broken his nose. You're a little bitch.
You better get that goddamn monkey now.
So Cuba Gooding Jr. has to shoot the monkey. It's
And
all
of-
very tense.
And
He
of
shoots the
course
monkey.
he stumbles on the blocks,
Yeah.
and it's just stop adding stupid
And they're
unnecessary
taking this
tension.
cute ass monkey, and all of a sudden it gets real scary, like.
I was totally rooting for him to accidentally shoot the kid. Like,
Yeah.
just put her to sleep.
So was I.
Yeah,
We're in the
so-
back of the neck.
Again,
or something,
and while
the
she's
kid goes
at
down.
it, while he's at it, the sheriff we saw at the beginning of it, that cowboy kid, shoot him too while you're at it.
Yeah, he just comes
The
comes
bratty
running out of the
kids.
forest for no reason.
The bratty cutie kids for no reason.
The which kids?
The bratty attempt at cute kids, you know.
Oh yeah, no, it would yeah, shoot the kid with the lawn, not the lawn dart,
Again,
the tranquilizer dart, and then the monkey attacks her. Anyway, so it was so.
I'm picturing like O.J. Simpson naked gun.
You're just picturing O.J. Simpson naked.
That too.
This is where we have the awesome helicopter chase.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, through the canyons, and then this is where Cuba Gooding Jr. shines because he's a helicopter pilot with 85 hours of flying experience, which is not a lot, I don't think.
I don't think it is either. But they have one stunt that's almost as good as Terminator 2.
What, when the guy goes through the metal guy goes through the bars? And
that's right. You know, he can really do that. That's how he got the part.
Yeah.
No. In T2, they fly a helicopter underneath an overpass.
Right.
And in this
which is
one,
probably a real stunt.
It was a real stunt.
Yeah, and this one was a real stunt as well.
And yeah, but it's like they definitely were like, oh fuck, that's good.
Yeah.
Get that same helicopter.
But they it was this one, especially when the Army helicopter went under the bridge, it was a lot of close-ups, so it didn't probably actually do that.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You didn't actually see it.
Yeah, they show what are the landing, the pontoons, what are those things called? When it lands, the sticks that it sits down on. Anyways, it shows it going into the water a little bit. And,
oh no, that was the evil helicopter.
And Hoffman's like, I would have chosen the over.
Anybody in their right mind would have chosen the over.
I
love that.
Stressing the fact that he's taking the risk.
Oh, dude, fuck it. It's so stupid. It's like he's a helicopter pilot. Why are you even giving him the option? Should I do the almost for sure gonna die thing or the super way
Easy
safer?
thing. Yeah,
because it's not like it saves them.
Well, every time they did something, you thought one of the helicopters was going to explode or crash into the bridge. There's a scene where they almost crash into each other, which would have been awesome.
Like, just end the.
I know, and then you go tink. Yeah, we did the same thing. Just come on.
After that, McClintock's. Because they keep tagging on one ridiculous climax after.
I know. It just went on way too long.
Like the whole. Then there's the bomber.
Well, and see, and again, it just changes tone. All of a sudden, it becomes this like
and then an action
come on,
movie.
What the hell are you?
Yeah.
Although I did like the helicopter.
Me too. It was totally fun to watch.
I thought it was very. And then so Dustin Hoffman's like, hey, shoot a couple of rockets into this forest over here.
Yeah.
And then fly away.
Because
they'll never know.
Because he's a doctor.
Yeah.
And he knows how to elude other army guys. They shot some missiles into the forest. I'm just picturing there's something, like some bears having a picnic.
Or the monkey.
Or there's a monkey. Yeah, the monkey's probably
one of the
masturbating.
Many
Is all they do.
Patrick Dempsey is released into the forest.
And all of a sudden, they look up.
Go boom. The Bigfoot.
The Bigfoot. He's made his decision. He's gonna make himself known to humanity.
And his blood cures all diseases.
Yeah, he's gonna save the planet. It's climate change.
He's gonna run for president.
he's gonna send people to the moon. He's got everything. And
he's
then
like, John Lithgow was right. God damn it. Anyway, so they blow up some trees, and then
Bigfoot for president.
And then of course it's like, oh, I guess they must be dead.
Yeah, I know. And they hover around it, and then
there's a hilarious
fly above an
scene.
18-wheeler to avoid radar.
Yeah.
Which
they drive off the bridge and picture going right into a tunnel.
Yeah, I know that too. And I picture the driver of the 18-wheeler like, what the fuck
is that? Do I stop? Do I speed up? Do I just keep driving?
Is the helicopter trying to land on my flatbed? Like, what
on my logs? Get away from my logs!
Yeah, and I did expect that, like, whoa, the tunnel all of a sudden.
And so they finally get back.
They get back to Smallville or wherever.
Smallville, and wait. So did they get back to Smallville, or was this before the bomb was going to drop on the city?
Okay, so they land in Smallville.
Okay,
and it's like. Amazingly, they didn't drop the monkey out of the helicopter at any point. It's like the door's open. Like, does the monkey just flop around and back? Like,
this poor monkey. He's hanging out with his family in Africa.
Yeah.
He's caught in a giant trap. That trap is one of those those movie traps.
It's like a Return of the Jedi.
What if an alligator or like a Bigfoot had walked in that trap? We don't want this.
What? No, you totally want a Bigfoot and an alligator. It's way better than some dumb monkey family.
And so this monkey's gone from Africa. He's been on a boat to San Francisco.
Yeah.
He got stolen by McDreamy in the back of a car, covered up. He got sold at a pet store, scratched a guy, and then he got led into the woods where he didn't want to be, made a friend with a little girl, and now he's in a helicopter, being banged around, being shot at.
And then he winds up on Friends.
He has
to hang out with David Schwimmer for the rest of it. That's the fate worse than Ebola.
A monkey's gone to heaven.
You treat a bag of groceries better than they're treating this fucking monkey. So then they're like, test the monkey cum. And say, oh, we have the cure in 5 minutes.
Can we get some more monkey cum over here?
It's made from monkey cum. The whole movie, I'm like, it's made from monkey cum. They boil it or something, and that is what the drug is made from. So then they have the cure. They test it on. See, I was thinking they were going to test it on the mom.
Well, they tested something on the other monkey that was dying, and that's how they figured out it was airborne.
The monkey's dead. I guess it must have been batted around too much in the helicopter.
The contusions, it died like a brain hemorrhage.
Is that how it works? Like if they have if you're patient 0, they take your blood and they get the antibodies. And
I'm not a doctor.
And they cook it up in a crock pot and they inject it back into you, and it's like a cure.
It's a slow cooker.
Put
it with a nice pork shoulder.
Especially as the disease. The disease, by the way, has been described so far as like, I cut open the body and it's like the pancreas, the liver, it's all mush. Like, as if that's all going to heal. Poor Rene Rousseau's internal organs, or character's internal organs are like...
Of course, she dies the slowest.
Well,
and she's not covered in pus and boils and hair falling out.
But it's
she has a red nose and some runny eyes.
Kevin Spacey looks so much worse.
Oh, he looked fucking disgusting.
Like, their internal organs should be like pureed baby food at this point.
Kevin Spacey looked like a circus clown who got hit by a truck. Like he's like all pale and like scabs.
He got caught under the wheels a few times.
And she's like all like.
She's still beautiful, but she looks gross.
Hold my hand and I'd be like, ew, no. So they get back and they're like, oh, the cure didn't work after all. I guess we're all gonna die. And then it was like E.T., when the plant springs back to life.
Yeah.
It was like,
monkey.
oh wait, the monkey miraculously. I guess you have to go into a coma.
Yeah. Look at it. He's sitting there masturbating. Yeah. That's what they do.
He threw shit in my eye. Just like he must like me.
He threw cum all over me.
So now they have the cure. But here comes Donald Sutherland, and he Operation Sandman is a go. Sandman.
All right, Viper. Okay, like smorgasbord. Okay. All right, eyebrows.
All right, Donald Sutherland. Yes, Sandman. And every time they said it, I was like, boop, 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 boop. Anyways, Sandman, really?
Yeah.
We're all going to sleep?
Yeah. Well, apparently, it's because you're going to nuke them.
So it's like, then the B-1 bomber lifts off.
They have a standoff in the sky. And, Sutherland's saying, go bomb them. And Dustin Hoffman's trying to talk him out of it.
No, but there's
Democrat talk.
Cuba Gooding Jr. has one moment where it's like, Dustin Hoffman's like, they're getting in the helicopter and they're about to ascend. And
means go
up. And he's like, they want their weapon. You mean he's going to let all those people die? They want their weapon. And then Cuba Gooding Jr. goes,
Yeah.
no.
He kept saying that. He goes, no.
He's like, no. Yeah. And so they go up in their rinky-dink little whirly-bird to square off against a B-1 bomber.
Which is enormous. The thing is, the plane can't crash through a helicopter because it's gonna crash itself.
I think it could probably crash through a
But
helicopter.
it's probably going to be damaged enough to not be functional aircraft. A plane that big probably shouldn't fly anyways, because to me it looks ridiculous. The skin on those things is so thin because you want to have as light as possible. Yeah. You crash into especially something that's full of fuel or whatever. Yeah, it's going to go down.
And then Dustin Hoffman gets all gummed up in the
it's stuck in the engine, the propeller.
His Academy Award-winning nose just. So they go up to the same height as the B-1 bomber.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Dustin Hoffman acts them down.
He acts them.
He uses his acting.
Yes, he totally
to override about a decade of military programming.
Yeah. There's no way those guys would have turned off.
If you really believe it's gonna drop the bomb.
Don't bombers have guns in the front? Like, take him down.
No, the thing is, it wasn't a bomber. It was a cargo plane for some reason. But the thing is, no, those guys are automatons at this point. They're barely human.
They're morons.
Yeah.
And there's no way. And also, they would just change the channel to Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
And nuke the town.
That's true. It's such an acting show.
His speech was just like,
oh, I know.
If you really believe you're saving the world, drop the bomb.
Yeah.
I know.
If you think I'm lying,
don't drop
the bomb because you were ordered to. No, the only reason they're dropping the bomb is because they were ordered to.
It was Bernie Sanders against Donald Trump right there.
But it was totally like Dustin Hoffman teaches acting lessons. Like he's giving the two actors playing the bomber pilots like their motivation.
Well, also, the thing is, all they're doing is sitting there.
He started doing lines from Marathon Man at one point.
Is it safe?
Point some Rain Man going on like, no, too close, like as they fly close.
I hate that movie.
He talks to Morgan Freeman at one point through the plane.
Right.
He's like, are you listening, Morgan Freeman? Are you going to let this happen?
I am listening, but I'm not saying anything.
Remember we marched on Washington in 1962?
Yeah.
So then the dumbest bit of last minute writing where Morgan Freeman's like, if you go to a height of 20,000 feet, the plane is going to have to avoid you and not drop the bomb. So don't do that.
and then evil Donald Sutherland's like, what did you just say?
If he does that, then they can't possibly.
Morgan Freeman.
Oh, right.
And the two pilots clue in too, the bomber pilots. Why did he just say that?
And then they look at each other.
They're understanding. Whoa, there's some fighting going on at the top. That's the more ethical.
Yes,
military voice to listen to,
because the military is all about ethical.
Well, you're taught to only follow orders when you want to.
They veer off and they drop the bomb in the ocean,
and they probably kill a bunch of fish.
They show that really nice beach. I'm just picturing this family having a picnic.
No,
what's that?
You know who?
Yeah, do you guys hear an airplane?
It was probably the dad and the two kids of the mom who died. Like, I'll take them down to the seashore.
Yeah, we'll scatter her ashes. Yeah. We'll have a fire and some marshmallows. Hey, do you guys hear an airplane? They blow them up.
Oh, look, it's supplies being dropped, like the beginning of the movie.
But
and so then the flyboys are like, "Oh, I guess we fucked up."
Yeah.
They drop it, and even though it's supposed to be a big relief, think of the damage they just did to the ocean with that.
That's what I was saying. All those fish they blew up.
Yeah.
Although it wouldn't be radioactive. I mean, they just killed some squid or whatever.
Yeah. They might have killed a merman or something, or a mermaid.
Yeah,
undiscovered species.
First they kill the Bigfoot.
Yeah,
and then they kill fucking Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman.
The lost city of Atlantis is just under the water, so they're about to give us the gift of peace. And
it just sinks further.
Everyone will live forever once they hear the magic incantation. Darth Sutherland is placed under arrest.
Yes.
He's you can't arrest me. And then he immediately gets arrested.
You're going to enjoy this, right? And then Smirky Smirk guy has a smirk.
I'm glad he didn't say anything. I do like that he just kind of smiled. As like, this way,
I missed that actor's name, but I kept thinking, does Ted Turner have a cameo?
You thought it was Ted Turner?
Totally looked like
he didn't look.
He's like, I'm going to come and fuck Jane Fonda.
Yeah.
That's why he was smiling. Then Dustin Hoffman, he lands a helicopter. He's like, thank God I can still fuck Rene Russo.
Well,
and
but she looks terrible. But he takes his mask off to expose himself to the same disease.
No, because she thinks that he's lying. He's like, we found the cure. Maybe it looked pineapple juice.
Stupid. It's so stupid.
And she's like, sure.
But what if it didn't work? Then they're both going to die.
No, but it does work though. They like the serum.
But what if it didn't?
Well, he was willing
it's the
to
cure.
die
It
with
works.
So he already knew. So he was pulling a fast one on her to get her to love him again.
The reason he was like, "Don't drop the bomb," was we have the cure, and if you drop the bomb, you'll destroy the cure.
I understand that. He didn't know it actually worked.
Yes, he did.
Well, then what's the big deal of him taking his mask off just to show, basically to show her that she was.
It wasn't for us. It was for her.
But which is bullshit.
It's not bullshit.
No, he's like.
Although why did he?
Because she didn't know he had the
actually,
cure.
Why was he even wearing the spacesuit in the first place if he knew he had the cure?
No, it's all dumb.
Anyway, it was Friday. He's in love. Speaking of the cure, bum.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the movie. Wait, hold on, and then now does it fast forward to when she's all back on her feet, or are they just smooching when she's all sweaty and gross?
I don't think they smooch.
And he's like, so does this mean we're getting back together? And then she goes, the worst last line in cinema history. He's like, you're thinking you get used to living with me again? And she goes, yes, now that I have the antibodies. And then fade to black.
Sexy.
And that's the end of Outbreak.
Yes, thank goodness.
And we outbreaked it down for you tonight.
We came up with several names that I thought were better than Outbreak. My personal one was Monkey Storm.
Monkey Storm?
Monkey Storm. Because it was a storm brought on by the monkeys. Disease Break, we came up with.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. What about Tammy's one was Donald Sutherland's such a dick. What was up? Helicopter Fight? That's all I got.
You know what? Those are all better than the original. You know what the original name for this movie was? Panic in the Hot Zone.
Oh.
Which sounds like Panic at the Disco. It's just the worst.
It is
Helicopter Fight.
Helicopter Fight?
It should be plural though. Helicopter Fights.
There's lots of those.
Or Mind My Monkey. Or Bedtime for Bonzo 2, The Reckoning.
This monkey's gone to heaven.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it didn't know the monkey survived.
Some monkeys probably.
I wonder if they let the monkey go live with that little girl again.
Yeah, the disease-riddled monkey.
After you caused all that trouble.
Yeah, if you get some shots, this monkey can live with you.
So, does it hold up, folks?
I'll go first.
All right.
Yes, I had a blast watching this fucking thing. You know, it's not a particularly good film, but it's a fun film to watch.
Yeah.
Have a few brewskis with your family, your child, and your wife.
Yes, and your monkey.
And your monkey.
Yeah.
And
your Bigfoot.
And your Bigfoot and everything else. I thought the movie was a lot of fun. It's a little long and it's dumb and it's not a very good movie, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I would say yes, please watch this. Especially now with what we're going through with all this crazy fucking shit.
It's surprising because I thought the movie was going to be a bit of a drag because of what's going on in the world right now, but it actually really took my mind off of it.
You know why? Because it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's so ridiculous.
It's like if you're the survivor, or if you're going through like a plane crash or something, and then you watch Airplane.
Yeah.
Or slip in the shower, and then you see Kevin Spacey in the shower.
There you go.
Wow, you waited this long to bust out your lame Kevin. You didn't do any Kevin Spacey jokes.
So, Alex, does the movie hold up?
I really enjoyed it. It's a mess of a movie. It's way too long, but I totally enjoy it. But not because it's a good movie.
Yeah, I think we can probably all agree it's enjoyable. Because it's not a good movie.
It was slightly. It's weird.
Oh, you saw it like 11 times in the theater.
I saw it a bunch of times. Like I knew it was like Rocky Horror Picture Show for me back in '95.
Did you? So every time that something happened, you stood up in the theater and threw a monkey at the screen.
That's right. Yeah, I would just spray people with blood.
You show up in a monkey suit and start biting people or spitting it on everybody.
No, it's weird. Because I actually thought the movie was far worse back in '95, but I had this weird kind of culty obsession with it. And this time I was actually surprised at how much smarter it was than I remember. Yeah, but the movie is a mess. No, it's not smart, but it is smarter than I remember. Just being a complete shit show.
Yeah,
and it was actually a little bit better than I remember.
Well,
I guess technically it holds up.
Well, I have this kind of the same reaction because I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember liking it more now than I did then.
Definitely liked it more now than I did then. So, it is Monday here at Black Dog Video.
And it's also the last day that we're going to be open until the fucking plague resides and we can go back to normal.
Yeah, so when we're open, whenever you're listening to this, check the website. What's the website again?
Black Dog Video website.
Well,
just Google Black Dog Video. There's only one. It's going to come up. Send me an email and we can work something out.
So let's pretend that you're listening to this in 2021, and there's still 10% of the population left, and we all have superpowers.
Yeah, and
we are still all wearing suits like the one in Outbreak.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm driving around on my scooter dressed for the guy from the Road Warrior.
So,
Lord Humongous.
And if Monday still
hockey
exists,
mask.
if Mondays are still a thing in the future,
Yes, if they still have Mondays.
Every Monday at Black Dog Video is 2 for 1. So, Darren, you're working here at Black Dog Video. Someone walks up to the counter with a copy of Outbreak. Yeah. What pairing do you suggest they rent alongside Outbreak?
I could go the obvious and say something like Soderbergh's Contagion or Omega Man, Andromeda Strain, but I'm going to go with another monkey movie, more of an ape movie, that where the Earth has changed and you know what happens. I'm going with Planet of the Apes.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going with, but that makes sense.
The original with Charlton Heston for sure, which is one of my favorite movies. The original Planet of the Apes is brilliant. I love it. Whatever it's
I've never heard. I assume it's not Earth the whole time. It's another planet.
I'm not giving anything away.
Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
Now I will put an addendum on there.
Yes.
Asterisk. Escape from Planet of the Apes, because there's those.
Which one's that?
That's number 3.
That's the amazing.
Is that the one with the nuclear bomb underneath?
No, that's Beneath.
Escape from Planet of the Apes is the one where I think it's Cornelius and
Corny to
his friends. Couple.
Kim Hunter and Roddy McDowell in there.
Yeah, but what are their
names?
They're
monkey names.
Whatever. And,
it doesn't
Zara.
matter. A male
Zara?
and a female ape go back in time to swinging 60s New York City, and it's
how is that possible?
Have you ever seen it?
Yes, I have actually, but I don't remember.
The male lead is Ricardo Montalban.
Oh, Ricardo Montalban! It's fucking amazing because they are like Truman Capote, the toast of the town, and no one's ever like, holy shit, these are talking apes. Alex, what is your pairing with what movie are we doing again? Outbreak.
Outbreak with an exclamation mark.
There's only one.
There can be only
Breakout.
one.
Yeah. Breakout, exactly. Breakout starring Charles Bronson as a helicopter pilot. And guess who his mission it is to rescue?
Sylvester Stallone.
Robert Duvall, who's in Outbreak.
No, he's not.
Wait, he's in Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Why are you pointing at me and saying that?
During the Outbreak.
No, you mentioned that.
You've been sitting on this since I mentioned Robert Duvall accidentally at the beginning of this podcast.
Breakout.
Is that tattoo in your taint? Is it Robert Duvall tattoo?
It's a 70s Bronson movie.
Is it?
Breakout.
What is that tattoo?
I've seen it. It's Robert Duvall.
I've never
1975 movie Breakout.
Breakout.
With Charles Bronson.
I was kidding. We don't have it though.
We do have it.
We do have it?
Well, put it this way. We don't as of the recording.
We don't have it.
As of the recording, we don't have it.
So we don't have it.
But my pledge as of to the listener, to the Black Dog customers, to all of you, is by the time
you're waving your arms like a
monkey.
I could say this so much faster.
Like
you didn't
like
comment.
A street magician.
If you didn't comment on my every last, you just adjusted yourself in the chair like a graceful tiger. Like what the fuck are you going here? Stop commentating on my moves.
The weird thing is I was thinking that, but I never said it.
I know. Everyone knows I move like a graceful tiger, but seriously,
nobody does. Nobody thinks that.
All I'm trying to say is, please look. The point would have been made 10 hours ago if you didn't keep cutting me off.
10 hours.
My Outbreak pledge to our listeners.
You're
and
absolutely
customers,
right. This would have been a lot quicker if we didn't keep cutting you off.
My Outbreak pledge is that by the time we reach the end of the tunnel, not at the time of recording, but judging by Dylan's slow as cold molasses editing skills.
Okay,
tell me about it.
By the time we get this up, by the time we're open again for business at the end of the light of tunnel, we will have Breakout. I will have donated it to the shop.
Anyways, Dylan, it's 2 for 1 Mondays at the Black Dog Video when we're back open. What is your pick?
Well, I took a lot of things into account. The decade it was made, the themes, the social importance, the relevance,
right?
And
sunspots,
and then aging actors' hilarious hair also factored into it. And the choice is obvious, and it's a film directed by John McTiernan, who I always mix up with Wolfgang Peterson.
Well, what's some journey?
So similar.
There's a I'm pretty sure it's John McTiernan.
John McWolfenstein.
John McTiernan,
right?
Director of Die Hard.
McTiernan.
I could be wrong about this, whether he directed it, but I think he did. And that movie is
Last Action Hero.
Nope.
I'll
I'll tell you who the stars are.
Okay.
Sean Connery and Lorraine Bracco.
Medicine Man.
Medicine Man is exactly my pick.
And it is John McTiernan.
That it's
you
equally.
can't recommend it though. You know why?
Why we don't
because
have it?
I put it in the stock and Darren sold it off literally like 2 weeks.
Are you
later.
crazy?
I did.
It's Medicine
You
Man.
did.
I don't remember that.
You
Well,
sold it off.
okay, well,
you
if you-
weeded it out,
if-
and then you laughed at me saying, "Who wants to watch Medicine Man?"
Nobody.
I do. Sean Connery finds the cure for cancer in the Amazon jungle, but those horrible deforestation people. No, it's really good, and Sean Connery's got a
I
hilarious,
bet we still have
a
it.
hilarious
We don't.
ponytail. I'm sure they have it at Canby. Like Outbreak, it is attempting to be socially relevant and have something to say. It's also about curing a disease, and it's also just a really hilariously bad, schlocky action movie.
So we've had 3 recommendations, 2 of which we don't have.
If we don't have Medicine Man,
we don't have Medicine
the
Man.
one that I thought Darren was going to recommend just now, 12 Monkeys.
Because of the monkeys?
And the plague.
And the plague, and there's
There is a plague.
now then that's a lot of monkeys.
Monkeys get a bad rap.
It's
man.
funny because when we were watching the movies last night, my wife kept referring to the movie as 17 Monkeys.
But there's only 2 monkeys. Well, there's a bunch actually in the beginning.
They make a good double
might
bill.
might be the sequel.
Here's a movie you could double it with that we actually have. Head, the Monkeys movie.
You know what's funny about that is me and Stephen Drake were just talking about how great Head is.
Yes.
So we are located at 1470 Commercial Drive here in creepily quiet, the Quiet Earth, Vancouver,
and also on 3451 Dust Bowl Lane.
Dust Bowl, tumbleweeds.
It's a weird time. You know, we're going through this weird pandemic. Everybody's supposed to stay inside. So this is the apocalypse. This may be our last podcast. If we all die
This
in the
may
next,
be the last podcast ever recorded.
Yeah, in the last 2. If we all die in the next 2 weeks,
I'm taking bets on which one of the 3 of us are going to be alive.
You are obviously going first.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm going to be the one to survive of the 3 of us. I'm in the best shape and the oldest.
Yeah. Okay. Blah blah blah. Black Dog Video. We need some kind of like sign out.
Should we sing a song?
Stay home. Stay safe.
Yeah. Everyone, just pay attention to what's going on.
Don't bite your nails.
Yeah. Don't bite your nails. Don't leave your house unless you need to.
Yeah.
Anyways, good night, everybody. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Be sensible. And we're all going to get through this eventually. Yeah. Don't go to Fort Lauderdale.
Really, I still feel though this pales in comparison to Harry and Meghan leaving the royal family. That to me, them leaving the royal family just this is a cakewalk.
Wait a minute.
That devastated.
Hold on.
It really is.
It never occurred to me.
What?
We've never seen Harry and Meghan and the
same
coronavirus in the same room.
That is fucked up. Man.
And they moved to Canada, and then all of a sudden,
interesting.
It's a germ bomb from Buckingham Palace.
So everyone, stay safe, stay clean, and we'll see you on the other side of this thing.
We'll see you on the other side.
The Black Dog After Dark podcast is recorded at Black Dog Video on Commercial Drive in Vancouver, Canada. It's presented by Alex Chisholm, Darren Gay, and Dylan Reimer. It is produced by Dylan Reimer and Darren Gay. Alex just kind of stands there and drinks beer. The intro and outro music was recorded by Tiger Burning Bright, composed by Jeff, who works at Jefferson's Barbershop, also on Commercial Drive. And he's a damn good hairstylist.
It's made from monkey cum, you know.
Pardon me?
The drug. It's made from monkey cum. They keep these monkeys locked in a room all day, you know. And then they make them jack off. And then they take the cum and they boil it or something. And that's what the drug is made of.